Here comes Peter Cottontail, hopping down the bunny trail, hippity hoppity Easter. Oh, hello. Thank you for joining me for Veg with Lisa Live. I'm Lisa. This is most definitely live and unscripted, and I put my finest Easter finery on for you. Happy Easter weekend for those of you celebrating, and even if you're not, I'm so glad you tuned in. I'm going to teach you today how to make a delicious roast lamb, hi Rob, with some cheesy potatoes on the side. Oh, just kidding, April Fools. I wouldn't make any roast lamb in this kitchen. Today is the Mighty Mighty Chickpea Part 2. Yes, if you watched last week, you saw we started in on the Mighty Mighty Chickpea. The chickpea is an amazing, incredible, hi Ellie, That reminds me, before we really get started, if you're watching, say hi, type in the comments so that I know you're here, whether you're live or on the replay, okay? Okay, cool. So back to our roasted lamb. Just kidding, April Fools. The Mighty Mighty Chickpea Part 2. I love chickpeas. They are an amazing source. Hello, Emily. They are an amazing, hello, chickpea. They're an amazing source of plant-based protein, of plant fiber, and a ton, well, fiber, the only fiber in the world. It comes from plants. And they also have a ton of great other reasons why we want to eat them, but most of all because they're delicious. So if you were here last week, and if you weren't, you can scroll down and watch the Mighty Mighty Chickpea Part 1. We talked about chickpeas. Oh, Ellie, it was a good April Fool's joke. You really wanted the roast lamb, didn't you? We talked about chickpeas in all the various forms they come in. This is how they come dried. Yeah, dried. This might be the way you're most used to seeing them in a can. Super, super easy. Open the can, drain them, there you go. Don't throw the liquid away. That's called aquafaba, and you can do cool things like make vegan brownies with them. Aside, I'm no way associated with Costco, but you can buy a little half flat of these puppies for less than $1 a piece. These are a great deal. They're organic, and they come in a BPA-free lined can. And then check this out. Oops, whoops. Aren't they fancy? These are fancy jarred organic chickpeas that my good friend Emily gave me, and I'm saving them. I don't. I didn't get it, Ellie. Bad April Fool's joke. My good friend Emily gave me these as a gift. What kind of a friend gives a friend chickpeas for a gift? A good friend. But today, we're not going to use the cans. We're not going to use the dried. We're not going to use the jarred. We're going to use this. Has anybody ever used this form of the chickpea before? In fact, does anybody know what this form of the chickpea is? This, my friends, is chickpea flour, sometimes known as besan, sometimes known as graham flour. Yeah, garbanzo bean flour, one in the same. Yep. I want to show you today how to make an eggless Easter brunch with this amazing, versatile chickpea flour. Hi, Mildred. Cousin Mildred is watching all the way from Wales. Do you use besan flour in Wales, Mildred? I would love to know. Okay, let me turn you down here so I can get started. I'm going to use that besan flour to make a vegan chickpea frittata for an eggless Easter brunch. All right. So I've got my chickpea flour here. This is really cool. You want to be careful substituting this. I would not substitute this one for one in your chocolate chip cookies. It might not work out, but it can be used in a lot of different recipes. A lot of cultures, the Italians, the Indians have been using besan flour for centuries, millennials, whatever you call it, thousands of years. Yeah. Moroccan food, a lot of Middle Eastern, Mediterranean type of countries where the chickpea was originated, right? So we know that the chickpea is ancient, thousands of years old. They claim 7,500 years old or older. They found signs of cultivated chickpeas, yeah, in what's now like the Jordan Valley and parts of Turkey. So anyway, that's just an aside because I think that's kind of cool. Chickpea flour in the mixing bowl it goes. And a little bit of non-dairy milk here for our eggless vegan frittata. Eggless Easter brunch. You can make your own. I made this almond milk this morning, super easy. You can also buy it. Just make sure that it is unsweetened. We don't want to have all of that gunk. Yeah, no sugar in our chickpea flour frittata. So give us a little whisk and then just a little bit more. So you're making basically kind of like you would pancakes. In fact, there are lots of recipes for besan flour, flatbreads, pancakes, things like that. Okay, let's just get the rest of this in here. There we go. By the way, I didn't, but you can easily make chickpea flour or besan at home. It's so simple. What you would do is you would start with these whole dried chickpeas. You would put them in a food processor, basically, and you grind them up. You probably have to take a couple of passes at it because they're really hard, but you could do it. You can also just buy the besan flour, the chickpea flour. I ordered this from Amazon because I couldn't find it in a local supermarket, but I'm sure you could get it at your neighborhood Indian restaurant if you've got one, or perhaps even an Italian market. Yeah? Okay, check that out. Look at that. It's beautiful, isn't it? It looks just like pancake batter. All right, so while I was doing that, before I was doing that, I sauteed some onions and some garlic in a cast iron skillet. We need an oven-proof skillet, so we want to make sure we don't have a toxic nonstick skillet because we're going to put this in the oven, and we don't want it to get too hot and choke us out. Okay, so I've got that on the stove, and then I also prepped some other veggies for my frittata. I like mushrooms. You could use any kind of veggies that you want. I have some bell pepper. If you've watched Veg with Lisa before, you know I love bell peppers. Colorful bell peppers are amazing sources of vitamin C. Yes. I cut up some little cherry tomatoes and spring onion, green onion. So I'm just going to stir this all together just like you would the ingredients for a frittata. So let's see. I've got mushrooms, I've got bell pepper, I've got onion, I've got, what else did I put in there? Tomatoes. I'm about to toss some spinach in. I'm counting the plants. I've got garlic in my skillet, 6. I've got the chickpea flour itself, 7. That is, Emily is so right. 1 bell pepper, colored bell pepper, has more vitamin C than an orange. I've got an orange's worth of vitamin C in this egg-free frittata. Hi, Angie. So I've already counted to like 7 plants. And we know, Americans, we are obsessed with protein. Guess what? You don't need to eat the lamb. We get enough protein. It's fiber that we're lacking. We have to eat plants to get fiber. My friend and colleague, Dr. V, down at Health Suite 110, talks about if we all just ate 50 different variety plants per day, that would be pretty awesome. 50 grams of fiber every single day. We wouldn't need to worry about anything else. We'd be too full to overeat. We'd have had a variety of foods, so we would have gotten enough protein. We would have gotten enough macronutrients. We would have had to eat a whole lot of plants to get 50 grams of fiber per day, so we would have had a wide variety of antioxidants and vitamins and minerals and all that other good stuff. The point being, we got to eat plants, and there are a lot of plants in this eggless Easter brunch. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to toss in my spinach. I always keep tubs of that spinach on hand, and I throw handfuls of it in everything. All right, here's a little trick. I've got some sea salt, and yes, if you have hypertension, you want to watch your sodium intake. However, you might want to watch it in the Big Macs and fries and not worry about it quite so much in this eggless vegan brunch. And this is a little fancy thing. It's called black salt. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. But it gives the chickpea flour and any plant-based egg dish sort of an eggy taste. So if you don't really like that eggy taste, skip it. Yeah, and if you don't have it, skip it. Okay, that's it. I just put non-dairy, unsweetened, and it'll make your fingers black. Unsweetened non-dairy milk, chickpea or besan flour or gram flour, all the same thing. And then I've got about 5 different kinds of vegetables in there. A little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. And then I'm going to get my skillet where I've already sauteed the little bit of a regular onion and just a teeny bit of garlic, and you don't want to overdo it, Emily. Too much garlic and you can't taste anything else. And that's it. You plop it in there just like you would. Kind of spread it out like that. Isn't that cool? Oh my gosh, this is amazing. You know, and I'm not a big fan of like fake animal products. Yeah. Oh, Angie, thank you so much. Angie tells us that it's the sulfur in the black salt that makes it taste eggy. Thank you. That makes perfect sense, doesn't it? She's right. So if you don't like fake animal products, like I'm not a big fan, right? Like I don't really want to buy fake eggs or eat fake meat. This is a whole food product, right? All we've done is take these chickpeas. Well, I didn't do this. There is so much thing as too much garlic, Emily. I didn't do it, but all you have to do, what is done, what one does, what could be done, is just simply take these chickpeas and grind them up, and we made the flour. It's a whole food product. It's not a fake analog, right? So if you think, oh, I don't like fake eggs, try this. It's not fake eggs, right? It's something that's been used in other cultures for thousands of years. We Americans are just starting to clue into it, probably because, I'm sorry to say, but 2/3 of us are overweight or obese. Kevin, I was waiting for you. And we have a real problem with heart disease, diabetes. I heard a staggering statistic on the radio today. In 2020, last year, right? Last year, the year of COVID. COVID in the US was only the second killer, the second highest killer of all people in the US. Now that's tragic. I'm not trying to diminish that. But the number one killer of Americans in 2020 was heart disease. Preventable and a reversible disease. So, eat a little bit less cholesterol, eat less saturated fat, eat more plants, eat more chickpeas. Okay, now, just because I had it, I've got a little bit of shredded vegan cheese. This is a fake product, and I don't necessarily recommend it, but sometimes we have it in the house just in case Rob likes to make a pizza. And it's a nice treat sometimes if you want something melty. Okay, that's it. I'm gonna put a lid on this. I'm gonna pop it in the oven, and I'm gonna be right back to show you what the finished product looks like. Yes, so I've got a wedge of my chickpea flour, eggless frittata, loaded with vegetables, full of plants for all of that good for you stuff, full of protein, full of fiber, very low in calories, gluten-free, but number one, the test is, how does it taste? Delicious. Thank you for joining me for Veg with Lisa Live. The Mighty Mighty Chickpea Part 2. Come back next week. Rob wants to know which came first, the chickpea or the chickpea flour egg. Aha! You guys are cracking me up today. See you next week for the Mighty Mighty Chickpea Part 3. Thanks for watching Veg with Lisa Live. I'm going to have some lunch.